On a late December evening in 1994, the skies over Trumbull County had the fortunate honor of playing host to an event some consider to be a once-in-a-lifetime sight. Just after midnight, calls began pouring in at the local police station from concerned citizens claiming they were seeing strange moving lights in the sky. Join me in this episode as we relive one of the best documented UFO sightings in American history.
Hey Dave, from your range, did you get pulsating red and green?
I'm telling you, we went outside, we didn't see anything.
No way. Yeah, what?
I'm calling the airbase again.
Okay.
Hold on, just stay on the line.
I'd gladly come down and pick you up another plane. I think there's scrambling planes out of SATCOM 1. Go check them out. Wait a minute. What? Oh my God, I hope that's a plane. Oh Jesus Christ, please be a plane. Oh, please. What? I ain't ready for this shit.
Welcome back to Moonlight Lore, everyone. I'm your host, Jordan Hopkins. What you just heard were two recordings taken from the night of December 14th, 1994, of multiple law enforcement officials and dispatch agents scrambling for answers as their county was besieged by strange lights seen flying through the sky. Today, we're looking into the mass UFO sighting that took place that night in Trumbull County, Ohio. Just after midnight, Royanne Rudolph was working the night shift, monitoring for 911 calls at her job at the dispatch office for the Liberty Township Police when the first call came in.
County Dispatch, may I help you?
Yeah, did you get any reports of any object in the air about 15 minutes ago?
Somebody called in, but I really don't know what that would be.
It was very strange.
Okay.
Looked like a back end of like one of them fighter planes, like a plane coming out the back.
Okay. Was it just like moving at a slow rate of speed?
It wasn't as slowly, it was a fast rate, but it was coming down.
It was coming down?
Yeah.
Like straight down or at an angle?
Like an angle.
At an angle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't real big in the back.
Okay.
Plane.
All right. I'll tell you what, we'll check with the airbase in Vienna and see if they have any report of anything in the area.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. 996.
A man called in asking about strange lights seen in the sky just north of Youngstown, concerned for what they were as they hovered slowly in the sky emitting nothing but silence. Not aware of anything happening in the area, Dispatcher Rudolph decided to try and follow up with a phone call to the airbase to check if they had any aircraft in the area. But before she could, the phone lines lit up with multiple more calls from other citizens claiming they were watching strange lights moving across the sky.
County Dispatch.
Okay.
Bob, I swear to God, 4 calls in on an unidentified object over Liberty.
4 calls.
4 calls on an unidentified flying object.
Why not take a look? All right, we'll check it out.
You want me to call the airbase and see if there's anything in the area?
We'll take a look.
Thinking the first couple callers were possible intoxicated individuals, possibly mistaking something else like a weather balloon or normal aircraft for a UFO, or simply trying to pull a prank on her, Rudolph got into contact with her supervisor asking what the plan should be. With other dispatch agents receiving more of the same call, Royanne's supervisor makes a decision and instructs her to make a call to the local airbase to ask what might be going on.
Yes, sir. This is Ryan from Liberty Township Police Department. Yes, Ohio. We have reported some flying object in our jurisdiction, in our area, above the Sampson Drive, Fifth Avenue Extension area. I could not give you any kind of traffic, direction that would help you know that area. Do you know of anything that should be in our airspace this time, close to the ground?
Right.
This is not a prank phone call, I swear. You can call me back and verify.
Look at the radar scope, and I go 60-mile diameter of Youngstown, and there is nothing out there.
Oh, shit.
Not even anything up high.
We've got
Nowhere.
five accounts, 5 calls in on this.
Yeah.
Something's flying in our area and it's low to the ground. Would you be able to monitor like a Cessna or something with a light on it?
Well,
This 100%. But
are you, is that location anywhere in your hospital?
we are close to a hospital, but the location is away from. It's as low as they said it was to the ground. It would be approximately 5 miles away from the hospital. We're closer to that end of town. Is closer to like out towards the Vienna line, Vienna Air Base area, and that's what I thought maybe it was related to.
Yeah, we haven't had anything going on, nothing coming in that direction.
Okay.
Good, half an hour.
Then I'm going to repeat. Okay.
Okay, just go out here northbound, climbed up high, and nothing's going on out here.
Okay, I am going to advise you of this. You could take it and file it under G and in your garbage can if you want to. We've got accounts of this. Hold on 1 second for me. Okay, I've got 4 to 6 calls. Hold on 1 second. Smart ass. Okay, at this time, I've had 4 to 6 calls come in about a lit object, well-lit object, blue-green lights, hovering above the area of Sampson Drive and 5th Avenue. The object was low to the ground, did not make any noise, hovered there for some time, and then continued moving down the 5th Avenue extension road. My unit was out. He caught something he thought was red. Somebody described it as the end of a fighter pilot plane. I don't know what the hell kind of lines of continuum they're drawing here. I don't see any, but this is what I was advised of, so I wanted to call.
Okay, well, we don't, I have a, if I was downstairs in the radar room, I would have a finder with some phone numbers. We have some 800 numbers as far as, identified flying object reports and things like that. If you wish, you can call during business hours tomorrow.
Like I said, I don't know.
I don't see anything out there, nothing on the radar scope, I haven't seen anything, and, we don't really do anything with the information.
Okay, I thought I'd pass along in case somebody was maybe flying without permission and, night flying or something like that. I didn't know what was going on, but as long as I've done my job passing it along, and I don't want to sound like a crackpot, but that's what we've got in so far. Okay, thank you. Bye.
With the news that no registered aircraft was operating in the vicinity or were being picked up on radar where the lights were said to have been, Royan continues to keep in close contact with the few officers out on duty that night to see if they could track down the lights and determine what might be causing the whole issue.
Any good?
Yeah. CC spot me, said it appeared to be hovering about 50 feet off the ground, heading towards Putnam Hudson. I'm going to be checking that area. It's supposed to be a large object with a lot of lights on it.
Sir, I have another report at Sampson Drive, and also we've been advised by caller to the media. Media informed us it was a blue-green object hovering, no noise. It was in the area of 5th Avenue Extension.
I'll go that 5th Avenue Extension just came in.
This is just in now.
28.
And any good?
I see some lights. It's over 1 block from me. I'm going to try to get over there. I got to go down the street here. It's a large object, whatever it is.
996, are you in the area? 925, do you want to head over to that area?
Copy.
Repeat your traffic.
Copy, I'm around. Where do you see that? I just got a glimpse of it. I can see, I'm on Sampson right now. I can see it heading by 5th Avenue on the other side. I can see some lights up in that area. All right, 925.
With the police now alerted about the object and on the move, Rudolph and her team at the dispatch office wait patiently for any word for what the officers were possibly seeing out there, continuously keeping in contact with them for any word for what might be flying in the skies, all while still getting phone calls from concerned citizens seeing the strange lights, many of whom were concerned about how low the lights were to hitting the ground while flying, wondering if an airplane was possibly crashing. After seeing the craft fly over his squad car, Officer Toby Maloro followed the lights to the end of the street he was on where the craft stopped and hovered in place over top of him. As the lights from the craft illuminated his car, all his electronics, including his car and CB radio to communicate with the dispatch, suddenly went dead. With nothing else to do, Maloro steps out of his patrol car and looks up at the craft shining its light down on him. He recalls the light was so blinding he needed to cover his eyes with his hands, but the craft wasn't giving off any sounds of any kind. After about 30 seconds, the craft takes off, away from Maloro and his squad car, and as soon as it does, his patrol car lights back up with everything back to normal as if nothing had happened.
We've contacted the FAA administration, and one, they've advised nothing on the radar scope within a 60-mile radius of Youngstown. They did advise they have no communication with any helicopters or any private-owned vehicles, air vehicles.
98, they're not aware of anything then, right?
Negative. He checked the radar and advised negative, nothing on the radar within a 60-mile radius of the Youngstown area. Again, he did verify they have no contact with any helicopter or private-owned vehicles that might be in the area. We are continually getting calls on this, so.
What's the area?
Still Sampson 5th Avenue.
We're right there. I don't see anything up in the air now. How long ago did these calls come in?
This just in within 2.
This is air radio. It's only visible to certain people with scanners. 98 radio.
Good.
If you get any more calls, Try to get an address. I'd like to speak to the people making the call, please.
Copy.
498 radio.
98, good.
After a short while of listening in, Rudolph gets into contact with another officer out searching for the object when he saw the craft fly overhead but lost it again when it disappeared behind a set of houses.
He goes, I'm looking at the radar right now.
Well, this thing wasn't more than about 50 feet off the ground.
Well, that's what I told him. I said, this is low to the ground. I said, you might not pick it up. I said, he goes, well, maybe it's a helicopter. I said, well, I heard from 4 people. Something that low to the ground would be making a hell of a noise.
This thing wasn't making no noise.
I know.
Because I rolled down, when I saw the glow, I rolled down my window, I didn't hear a sound. The only sound I heard was my car.
Well, was it moving, or was it just...
Yeah, it was glowing. You could see it like up in the air, glowing, and getting further away from me. That's why I had to go all the way down Overbrook and cut over to get on 6th Avenue. As soon as I turned on 6th Avenue, I didn't see it.
Did Bob see it?
No.
Did Steve see it?
No. I'm the only one that saw it.
There's about 10 other people in Liberty who are just swearing up and down they saw a UFO.
The media probably have something.
Oh, they'll have a ball with it, because, they called already.
Really, what did they say? Did you guys locate anything?
Yeah, well, they're like, people are serious. They're very upset. And I'm like, well, it's got to be a weather balloon or something. And I knew it wasn't a weather balloon because they,
Well,
FAA would know about it.
Prosecutor said it was green and blue lights.
Well, no, the media said it was green and blue lights. I had a man who said it wasn't. He said, the thing is, it's huge and it doesn't make any noise.
That's what I saw.
And I said, could it be like a weather balloon? He goes, no. He goes, these lights are incredibly bright. And he goes, and this thing's just hovering. It's not moving. And I said, well, maybe it's a private plane or something.
Now, this thing, whatever it was, lit up. I mean, literally lit up. You could stand, if you were underneath it, you could see it would be like daylight, but red light.
Well, I logged it. I know this is coming back up. I know everybody and their brother's going to be calling.
Whatever it was, there were multiple people claiming the object in the sky was non-moving, but there were others claiming the opposite, saying they were witnessing it slowly hovering around, disappearing behind tall buildings. Police were still having difficulty trying to locate the object, as one moment it was there, the next it was gone. With so many conflicting reports about the color, size, how high it was off the ground, and if it was actually moving, Rudolph, along with her colleagues, started to get more than a little stressed trying to get a location, and more importantly, an identification on the object. Suddenly, Rudolph got a call from a colleague from the nearby dispatch at the Township of Liberty, who was also aware of the object flying above, informing her that she would be able to see it herself as it was high enough and close enough to the dispatch station if she just went outside.
County Dispatch, may I help you?
Yeah, this is Howland 433.
Hey, 433.
How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Liberty was spotting earlier.
Oh, cut it out.
No, I'm serious. We've been watching it for about 10 minutes now.
Your ass.
No, I'm serious.
Man.
Go straight out your door.
Hold on.
Henhide.
Where's it at?
I'm on Henhide, okay?
Come get me. I want to go see this. Is it outside? Can I, see it from here?
Oh, you'll see it. I can't
Plug
believe
into
it.
me. All right, I'm going to go look at it now.
All right, if you're up high enough, it's straight east of you.
It's east of me?
Straight east of you. Look straight up.
Which way do I go? Okay.
You know where Kane Drive is across from the hospital?
Plug in for me. I'm going to go out. Liberty. Get Howland Liberty.
Still bewildered at what it could be, the idea of it being an airplane went out the window as it remained stationary in the sky, non-moving. The idea of it being a helicopter too was determined not to be the case, as no noise was being emitted the entire time the object was in flight over the county. And now, putting their jokes aside at the station, the staff and officers out on patrol had no other clue what the object could have possibly been other than that of an actual real-life alien spacecraft. At this point, Royanne rushes back into the station after not being able to see the object in the sky, and makes plans with her colleagues from Liberty Township for them to come pick her up and to go find out what everyone else was seeing, and begins to phone the airbase again just to recheck if they knew anything new.
You tested on it, Howland? Because we went outside, we didn't see anything. They all see it. We were all on tonight, we didn't see it.
Okay, well, we're on Henhide north of Kane. Okay, there's a brand new house under construction, and we're watching it right through the empty field.
You're seeing it through the field?
Yeah, we're scared. All our cars
How big is it? What color is it? Because I got three
It ranges from like a whitish red to pulsating greenish lavender.
Did you see any red? It was a whole red light. He said it looked like...
Well, from the distance, I mean, I can't tell. My binoculars are a cheap set of binoculars. I thought I saw some red. Let me check with Dave from his angle. Do you see red and green on it? Hey, Dave, from your angle,
I'll call
do you see pulsating red and green?
I'm telling you, we went outside, we didn't see anything.
Yeah, what?
I'm calling the airbase again.
Okay.
Hold on, just stand the line.
I'd gladly come down and pick you up in the car for you.
I want to see it. Come get me.
All right.
Come get me.
All right.
I'll be outside.
Okay.
All right. called you about Liberty Township. The darn thing is in Howland Township now, and it's hovering over a site. Do you show anything at all on your radar screen in the Warren area?
In Howland Township.
Howland Township.
That's hovering where?
Hovering over a hen hide in Howland Township, about 5 minutes here from the center.
Well,
They're seeing this. They're watching this thing. It goes 50 feet from the ground. There's blue and green lights. Some people say they see a red holding light. Hovers about 50 feet from the ground with no noise. We've had this all night.
Looking to the west. Yeah, I don't see anything. I'm 70 feet in the air.
I'm going out to look for this right now. My unit's coming over there. Tell me when you got here.
Okay, let me get a pair of binoculars. Let me call
Can you check that? Let me give you a number to contact.
With Rudolph taking a break from her shift to go see what she could see with some of her colleagues, the dispatch station continued to get calls throughout the night of strange lights. With no answer and not wanting to start a panic amongst the members of the small communities in the area, the people left at the station tried their best to explain what was happening. Of course, with no clear answers to give, the staff scrambled to find the answers they desperately need. Constantly calling up the airbase again and again, asking if they were finally reading any aircraft on the radar, and keeping constant tabs on the officers out in the field to see if they could offer up any sort of idea.
I'm going to head out to 305 and I'll see if I can get a glimpse of it from there. Okay. 2223 to control. 2223, good. Okay, I got a visual on both of them. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. 10-4. We have multiple departments right now that have sightings on it. Okay, I got them both. I'm in the area of the county home. I got Howland, looks like it's in the area of Warren Road, and I got Liberties, it looks like it's down near Hubbard. 10-4. If you see it any closer, you can identify it, let us know. Affirmative. Go ahead. I'm past 74 lumber, still eastbound. Okay, so just southeast of my location. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's moved at all from where I'm at here. Okay, you were out there by yourself, or you got someone that's documented in the observation also? Yeah, I'm at the airbase. I had the security guard out here. He doesn't know what to make of it either. You want me to get a visual on it? Oh, yeah, we can see it from right here. 433 control. 433. You asked the Liberty dispatcher, you want to come to the FAA inquiry? Last check at radar at the airport, they're advising they have nothing on their screens. They're probably not going to tell us if there's anything anyway, if it's anything to do with the military.
From the recordings, the dispatch seems to have a troublesome time trying to figure out which direction the UFO was moving to direct more officers to the area, as multiple other officers out in the field were giving contradictory reports on where it was and where it was moving to. Fortunately, as time went by, more and more eyes were able to spot the craft and divert others to its location. At this point in time, multiple townships and county police stations were aware and fully able to witness the lights in the sky, with officers from Brookfield Township, Liberty Township, Youngtown's Police, and Hubbard City Police all converging on the scenes where the UFO was previously reported to have been. Lieutenant James Baker of the Brookfield Township Police Department had been hearing his fellow officers over the radio of the supposed UFO moving across the county, and had the idea to climb up the old radar tower that gave an excellent and unobstructed view of the entire county. What he saw while at the top had him completely stunned.
I can see him. Did you see anything? I got him right here. I'm looking at him. What the hell is it? Hold on a second. I gotta turn my lights on so I get rear-ended. Okay. Well, I can see him from Warner Road. They're sitting stationary. I got 3 of them. One is over, well, there, and then there's 2 kind of close together. What do they look like? Well, I'd like to say that they're just like flickering stars, except I've got 4 discernible colors. I got red, yellow, green, and blue, and the one just was like flashes. So if they're those planets those guys were talking about, then they're planets with Christmas lights on. You can see them? I can see them. Not like clear as day. I don't see any wings or anything. Yeah. Unreal. Hold on a second.
Lieutenant Baker was observing not one UFO, like previously thought by everyone else, but 3 in total, flying in a triangle-shaped pattern through the sky. During his time watching, Lieutenant Baker becomes unsettled as he begins to see more lights coming across the dark sky.
This is weird. I had a beat on him from the tower. They were close. They got to be going away because they were closer than this. Now I'm looking at them. Oh my God! And they're not a plane, because here goes a plane, and I can see the plane, and the plane's blinking red, and the fact that there's another plane. I think there's scrambling planes out of SATCOM 1. Go check them out. Wait a minute. What? Oh my God! I hope that's a plane. Oh, Jesus Christ, please be a plane. Oh, please. I ain't ready for this shit. Hold on. little bitch, where'd you go? At the plane. Oh, thank God. Well, I get nervous when they're coming right at me. There's 3 planes up there. I'll tell you what, they're flying from the Air Force Base. Really? Something's got to be. Oh, really? Yeah, hold on. I'm about to get you rolled again. Where are you? Right here. Wait, where are you? Warner Road, south of Merwin Chase. Really? 4 up there now. There's 4 planes. Oh, okay. What the? No, I mean, the other things are still there.
Lieutenant Baker was witnessing low-flying planes making passes nearby, assumingly trying to figure out what these 3 other aircrafts were. There have been theories about this, but it was suspected that these low-flying planes were jets from the nearby Youngstown Air Reserve Station, although they reserved the fact that they had no part in the incident, as many people began asking if the 3 lights were newly developed top-secret aircraft being tested. For a large portion of the night, the dispatch officers from the multiple townships continued to get phone calls, while their officers out in the field continued to track and follow the lights in the sky. Several hours had passed, and as the group of officers struggled to keep pace, the objects in the sky began moving faster, heading east towards the Ohio and Pennsylvania border when the lights suddenly took off with incredible speed and disappeared into the cold December sky. But during the night, when things began to drag on, multiple theories of what the lights actually were started to make their rounds within the ranks of the officers and dispatch staff. Many were in disagreement, as plenty were sure what they had come close to was an encounter with the first kind, a very real and very close encounter with an alien spaceship, while others were a bit more skeptical, thinking it was most likely the lights from an airplane or helicopter, the bright lights of a planet or star in the sky, or even a top-secret aircraft being tested by the military. It's also worth to note, the Geminid meteor shower, which goes from December 4th to the 17th, was at its peak the same night the lights were witnessed. Each year during the same time, the meteor shower rears its head to bless us with a wonderful sight, but perhaps this year in 1994 over Youngstown, it perhaps didn't set in a sense of wonder, but more so of confusion and panic. If we look back, the calls about the supposed UFO sightings only began after 12 in the morning, whereas the meteor shower starts just before 6 p.m., the best time for it to be seen is just after midnight as well. This could easily be an explanation for what people and officers were seeing that night back in 1994. Just some close encounters with some space rock burning bright through the atmosphere. However, we can't deny there was something in the sky over Trumbull County in 1994 that confused and worried plenty of citizens and well over a dozen law enforcement officials who claimed to have seen an actual aircraft. Could it truly have been a group of alien spacecraft taking shelter from the incoming meteors, or was it simply more explainable, like the burning rocks of a meteor shower or a human-operated plane? This incident has become one of the most well-documented and massively seen UFO sightings in American history, with both believers and skeptics offering a multitude of explanations supporting their own side. Unfortunately, as is so often the case, we may never truly know what really caused so much commotion in the sleepy county of Trumbull in 1994. Hey there, everyone. I just wanted to jump in at the end of the episode to let you all know that Moonlight Lore has an Instagram page where I've been and will continue to post pictures of and relating to the specific episodes talked about on the podcast. If you're interested, feel free to give me a follow on there at Moonlight Lore Podcast. And if you're wondering how you could help support and grow the podcast, simply by listening does just that. But if you want to go even further, leaving a 5-star review on whatever app you're listening to this on, and by sharing this podcast with your friends and family who you think might be interested, would also help immensely. I appreciate all of you for listening to Moonlight Lore, so thank you, and I hope you've been enjoying it. Take care and stay safe.